Boom, boom. Hi, everyone. I think we're live, but I've got some funny stuff going on here. Can you hear me? If you can, then give me a hell yes somewhere in the comments. That would be awesome. Okay, great. There we go. So we are live here with the 5-day Eat Real to Heal Challenge. My name is Nicolette Richer, and I am the founder of several companies. One being The Green Mustache. We have a collection of 5 plant-based whole foods, unrefined food, beautiful organic whole food restaurants, and we are launching 10 in New York City, which is super, super exciting. And our mission is to help 22 million people reverse their chronic diseases. Now, I know you've been getting lots of emails and you have been signing up for this Facebook challenge. It is 5 days where I'm going to teach you in the highest level possible, because it usually takes me about 18 hours to cover all the science of why you need to do what you need to do to eat the foods that you need to eat to be able to actually reverse your chronic disease. Now, one of the other companies that we have, in addition to our restaurant chain, is we also have Richer Health Consulting. So that company I have been running for the last 12 years, helping clients one-on-one reverse their chronic diseases using food as medicine. Woo woo, that is amazing. We have thousands of case studies from all around the world with people who have been diagnosed by their medical teams with some of the craziest chronic diseases ever. They've been in pain, they've been suffering, they have been literally told by their doctors they were going to have to live with that pain and suffering for their whole entire lives. And what happened was they finally, and in a lot of cases, people have to hit rock bottom before they make changes, but they did. They hit their rock bottom, which made them reach out to me after they had tried everything. And then they decided to implement food as medicine. So thank you. Just let me know that you guys can hear me. If you can just type into the chat with a yes, that would be awesome. And then I know we are good with the sound. It's always hard to do sound checks on here when it's a one-way conversation. So I'm going to pop the mic down a bit here too. So one of the things too with the company Richer Health Consulting and consulting with clients is we really are in the midst of an epidemic. We have 60% of North Americans that are living with a chronic degenerative disease. So many people are suffering with mental health illnesses. Thanks, Dawn. Awesome. You can hear me. This is good. So many people living with a mental health illness. We have suicide, which are at alarming rates. In fact, last year, my ex-husband, I got a call from his wife saying that he had taken his life. And, you know, he was an amazing man. He was well loved and he loved people dearly. We had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. He took his own life, leaving behind his wife and his 3 kids. Now, he did it because he was in utmost pain and couldn't get the care through the medical system that he needed. In fact, for a lot of people suffering from mental health issues, whether it's depression or anxiety or panic attacks, I mean, there's little resources for them. And the doctors usually just prescribe drugs. And those drugs are scary because we know from all of the scientific research that's been done that the drugs do not work as well as lifestyle changes, in which one of the biggest lifestyle changes you can make is around your diet. Now, we're living in a midst of so many crazy, what do we call them? Ideas around what constitutes health. We have people who are on the ketogenic diet, and amazing for people who are really overweight, and that obesity is definitely linked to chronic disease. And so if they have to lose weight fast, sure, ketogenic for 6 weeks, do it. Plant-based preferably so that you're getting nutrients. But after that, the studies show that within a year, you can block 98% of your arteries. That is crazy. People are proponents of the keto diet, which has now just been acclaimed as the worst diet for all of 2019. And yet people still do it because they're doing it for the aesthetic reasons. And yes, you can feel better when you lose weight for sure, but what's happening internally? We have people who are huge proponents of the paleo diet, saying the more meat we eat, the better, even though there's plant-based paleo now for sure. But even then, people are really minimizing their carbohydrates, which are so critical for health. Then we have the no-carb people, the no-fat people, the high-fat people, the high-carb people. We have everybody that is a huge proponent of all of these different things. Meanwhile, all we have to do is look at the science, and the studies show that a predominantly or even 100% plant-based, whole food, unrefined diet is what is going to allow you to thrive. And when I say thrive, I'm talking about having literally like massive amounts of energy so that you can accomplish all the things that you want to do in your life. It's about being disease free for as long as possible. And we can look at communities all around the world that have been eating this way for thousands upon thousands of years, and they live to be in their hundreds without the diseases we're seeing in our Western world. What we're seeing, it's an epidemic, and we need to put an end to this. And that is our mission at Richer Health, at the Green Mustache, is to help 22 million people reverse their chronic diseases. Now, the reason why we chose 22, because that represents 10% of the North American population that is currently battling a chronic illness. What I have come to know from working with thousands of clients around the world is that when one person heals, they inspire 10 other people to heal. And that is the way we're going to see a massive shift in the way we look at chronic disease, the way we analyze it, the way we think about it, and the way we treat it. The beautiful work that we've been doing here as well is we've been training physicians as well. So when my clients go and see the physician to get blood work or to, get their diagnoses or to follow up with their illness, what the physician ends up seeing is the patient is healing, even though the doctor said, no, you're going to be on those drugs for the rest of your life. No. You're going to have endometriosis for the rest of your life. You're going to suffer from migraines from the rest of your life. There's nothing we can do about it. And I'm here to tell you that is the biggest load of bull that anybody can ever tell you. In fact, I had a woman in our restaurant the other day who came up to me and she said, hey, are you the woman who wrote Eat Real to Heal? That's our book that we have. If you haven't bought it already, I highly encourage you to do it. Buy it and literally do everything it says. So she bought the book, she implemented it, and when she saw me, she came up to me and she just gave me a hug and started crying. And I was like, why are you crying? And she started to tell me that since she was 14 years old, she suffered from endometriosis, and that her doctors had said she'd have to be on the drugs that they had issued her, and that she'd have to have multiple surgeries for the rest of her life. That's just what it was. Endometriosis was incurable. So being a 14-year-old and being the fact that she's there in front of a doctor in a lab coat, she believed this doctor. And so when she applied our program, it took 3 weeks for her pain, for the first time since she was 14, for her pain to completely go away. She was pain-free. Not only that, because she was pain-free and feeling amazing, she also went back to her doctor, and her doctor said she didn't need the drugs anymore. Now, I've worked with clients who have endometriosis before, and literally they do our program, and years later, they're still endometriosis-free, even though their doctors also told them that they'd have to live with the drugs forever. Now, what do I want to share with you about the Eat Real to Heal program? Over the next 5 days, we are going to be covering so many different things, but of course I can't cover them in high detail. This is just a free challenge. We're going to be getting together every day, and I'm going to be giving you something to do every day that will help you uncover why you even want to do this Eat Real to Heal challenge. I have learned that until you discover the why behind wanting to do something that is actually a lot of work, you're going to be changing your habits. You're going to be changing the food that you're eating. You're going to be changing your kitchen. You are going to be turning your kitchen and your life into a healing pharmacy. And when I say pharmacy, I really mean that with a big fat F, F-A-R-M-A-C, so that you're using food as medicine to heal. You are going to be having conversations with your loved ones about why certain foods can no longer come into your home. You're going to be having conversations with your loved ones about why you're bringing in an abundance of amazing, healing, whole, unrefined plant foods. You are going to be having conversations about why things have to be cooked a certain way and why you're not using things like oil and salt anymore. And I can tell you this. When you've worked with somebody who has cancer that has a 9.6 centimeter mass in their liver, and they're being told that they're going to die, and within 3 months that tumor shrinks by half, and in another month it shrinks again by half, and then it disappears, I'm telling you, you will understand why I teach what I do, and you will get why I'm saying no salt. Some of you might be freaking out being like, what? no salt, but I thought Himalayan crystal salt was good. I thought, all the Celtic sea salts were good. I'm now using a blue salt or a green salt or whatever the salt of the marketing day is. I'm telling you, the kind of salt that you need to stay away from is sodium. Nature has provided the right amount of sodium in our foods in the perfect ratio to all the other salts. You don't just eat one salt, you eat multiple salts. You have potassium and magnesium and phosphorus and sulfur and sodium, yes, but our body just needs about 30% sodium in our body, but it needs 70% potassium. And this is critical because what you learn in the Eat Real to Heal program is how to reverse your potassium sodium ratios. And that is also what keeps you disease free. In the Eat Real to Heal program, I teach about fats and why we just have to stop thinking about fats altogether and oils altogether, and why nature has provided all the fats that you need and the carbon link chains that you need in your food, so your body will turn your food into the fat it needs. And if it has too much, it'll turn it into sugar. And if it has too much sugar, it'll turn it into fat. But the thing is, it's all in the name of getting you super energized, super healthy, so that your body can continually repair itself. And that is the job of your body, is to repair any damage that it's experiencing every single day, whether it's removing toxins, whether it is healing a cut, whether it is fighting a cancer cell, whether it is stopping the progression of adhesions in the body, or whether it's nutrifying the brain so you don't have brain fog and headaches and migraines, whether it's healing your skin so you no longer have eczema or psoriasis, and whether it's healing all the antibodies in your body so that you no longer suffer from the autoimmune disorders that you may have. So that's your body's job, but you have a job to do too. And your job is to fuel your body with the utmost cleanest form of food possible that provides the most amount of nutrients per bite. And that is what I teach you. Because we have all these people on this like crazy superfood kick where, people are like, well, I ate my pound of goji berries today, or else I had like 3 cups of almonds today. But I'm here to tell you that is not what gets you healthy. That is not what gets you healthy. What gets you healthy is having an abundance of organic, clean, unrefined, plant-based whole foods, because they're nutrient dense, they're low in calorie, which means you eat more, which is awesome. So you feel full and you're satiated. So you're no longer craving the bag of chips or craving the chocolate or craving the Burger King or the McDonald's or wherever you are in the world, the fast food joint that's in your town. It's so that you're not reaching for a baguette and smearing butter on it just to try and satisfy your body's need for nutrients. But meanwhile, you're only giving it a very few nutrients versus giving it like 80 to 100 to 150 nutrients per bite or per meal. So that's what we teach you as well. So for today, I'm going to announce our challenge. And this is how the 5-day challenge works. I know that if we tackle the why you want to get healthy, if we tackle the why you want more energy, if we tackle the why of why you don't want to have pain anymore, or why you don't want to be suffering from your chronic illness anymore, if we tackle that first, I know that you're going to implement these changes and you're going to adopt them as a lifestyle as opposed to it just being a diet. We don't teach a diet. We don't teach a cleanse. We don't teach some program that you're only meant to do for a few weeks. We teach a lifestyle change. That's what I do at Richer Health. And when you make that lifestyle change, then it becomes infectious. Other people adopt the same lifestyle because they're like, hey, I'm watching what you're doing. You're energized, you're motivated, you're pain-free, you're looking amazing, your skin is glowing without the need for all those expensive creams and moisturizers and whatnot. And they want to do the same thing that you're doing. So we create a lifestyle. Your kids can eat this way. Your grandparents can eat this way. In fact, your grandparents were probably eating this way until about the 1930s or 40s, depending on how old your grandparents are. So let's tackle the why. So this is today's challenge. And over the next 4 days after this, I'm going to be giving you a different challenge as well. Now, these challenges are really going to be about the behavior change, the habits, the why, the limiting beliefs, the addressing why you want to do this. But I'm also going to give you a second challenge every day, and they're going to be super small because come January 27th, we're going to be kicking off with the 5-week Eat Real to Heal challenge. And that's where, if you want to sign up for our Eat Real to Heal program, you're going to get the online course, you're going to get weekly group coaching for life, you're going to get access to our community, our Healing Hero Eat Real to Heal tribe on Facebook, so you can always be asking questions. I guarantee you, when you book an appointment with a doctor, you do not get those services, no matter who your health practitioner is. Every time you want to see them, every time you want to ask a question, you need to pay for it. Whereas we know that when you're making lifestyle changes like this, you need ongoing support for life, which is why we're going to create a community. When you eat with community, when you're part of a community, that is when you stick to these changes and they just become part of your tribe, who you are and who your community is. And that's really important for making these changes. So I'm going to give you a second challenge each day, which is going to be around the food. And these challenges are going to prime you for, if you want to buy my book, read it, do the program. If you want to sign up for our Eat Real to Heal course, where you'll get 18 hours of instruction on how to really do this, which means not just the instruction, but the science. So you can go to your doctor, you can go to your friends, and you can be like, hey, I've read the science, I know, I was taught it. And so then that way you don't have to have these ridiculous debates about, well, you're not getting a 50% protein that you need, or maybe somebody else is saying 25% protein per day. Really what we're teaching you is how to just have a nutrient-dense lifestyle. So you'll have all of that information. Okay, now I know I did say I was going to give you the challenge, so here it is. Before I do that, I've got to tell you what you need to do. Before I tell you what you need to do, you need to go away from this Facebook Live call, and then you need to do the challenge, and you need to take a photo of it, or you can type it into the comments, and you need to show us that you did the challenge. When you do that, we will enter your name into a draw for the 5-week course. So we want you to do all 5 challenges to be able to be entered into the program. So you're going to have to prove to us that you did it. So today's challenge is really simple. It can take 2 minutes, it can take 5 minutes, it can take 10 minutes. You spend as much time as you need on it. But it's this. What would you do if you had unlimited energy? So what I mean by this is, what would you do if you were not battling a chronic illness right now, if you were not battling brain fog, if you were not having to go to the doctors because you have symptoms for something, if you were not spending your energy worrying about your symptoms, if you actually were to adopt this amazing lifestyle that nutrifies your body, kickstarts the regenerative healing in your body, and starts to create about 2,000 mitochondria per cell. That is what we're doing with the Eat Real to Heal program. So many North Americans really have about 200 mitochondria per cell. I get into detail about what mitochondria are in the Eat Real to Heal program, but I'll tell you this, they are your energy powerhouses. So our standard American diet has allowed our bodies to not be able to produce mitochondria, and your mitochondria are your power stations. They create your energy. So if you're walking around with a reduced number of mitochondria, you don't have the energy to be able to play with your kids, to be able to perform well at work, to be able to be super creative and create the art you want to create in whatever form, whether it's in writing or painting or sculpting or dance or your work or the art of parenting or the art of traveling, whatever it is. We know you have dreams to be able to be the best version of yourself, to be able to be incredible at what you do, and to have the energy to really enjoy doing it, so it's not a slog every day. So many people ask me this. They're like, Nikki, how do you have the energy that you have? You have 3 kids. Yeah, I have 3 girls. They're amazing. They're 8, 12, and 15. And they are incredible human beings. But it is a lot of work being able and trying to raise 3 healthy, vibrant, mindful kids. I also have 5 businesses, and we're launching a 6th right now. I also have 2 dogs who I walk every single morning, and we have to deal with their vets, stuff and everything that requires like cleaning up dog hair around the house and so on. We also run a wellness center. There's so much things that we have going on, and I'm also doing my PhD, and some people might think like that's crazy, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, it is crazy. But at the same time is I actually have the energy for it, and I get 8 hours sleep a night, like really good sleep at night. So people say, how do you have so much energy, Nikki? And I can tell you this, if I didn't live this lifestyle, I would definitely not have this energy, because there was a time in my life where I didn't live this lifestyle and I suffered from it. I was covered in acne. I was walking around with more weight on my body, which is also exhausting if you're not producing enough mitochondria. I had crazy PMS. I got to the point where I stressed myself out so much with work that I started to develop heart palpitations. And with that, my hormones were out of whack, my thyroid was out of whack. So I know what it's like to really feel lethargic and almost gross. Like you kind of don't want to face the day every day, where you're like, oh my God, I have to go to work. And the time when I was like this, I really didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be a good parent. I didn't want to be a good partner. I didn't want to go and exercise and get out in nature. It was really hard to do anything. But 12 years ago, when I really, really actively adopted this lifestyle, that's when everything changed and my energy went through the roof. Now, some of you might think, well, what else changed in your life? Well, I don't know. I was aging, and generally as you age, your energy goes down, but that wasn't the case for me. My energy actually went up. I am more energetic now than I ever was in my 20s and 30s, and it allows me to think clearly and be creative in all things that I do. And in fact, sometimes I have like too much energy. It's actually like I'm like, what can I do next? Like I'm so excited to face life. So I want you to feel that way as well. So your challenge for today, okay, for day one, is to write a note about what you would do if you had unlimited energy. Would you have the energy to apply for the job of your dreams? Would you have energy to quit your existing job and start a business? Would you be able to go back to school because that's something you've always wanted to do, whether it's to finish your high school or finish your undergrad degree or to go and do your master's or a PhD? Would you maybe volunteer? Would you give yourself over and be of service to someone else or something else? Would you have the energy to do that? I remember in one retreat that I was teaching, one of the participants started crying. And I looked over at him and I thought, oh my gosh, did I say something that offended him? Is he okay? And he came up to me and he said, if I had unlimited energy, I would play with my kids. He didn't even have the energy to play with his kids. Another client of mine, she had gallbladder disease and was having gallbladder attacks almost every week. She was in the hospital for it, cervical cancer, postpartum depression. When she did the program, she lost 57 pounds, she healed. And the number one thing she said that was so great about doing the program is that being a teacher, she was actually able to play with her young elementary school students on the playground instead of just sitting at the sidelines, too exhausted to do anything. Too exhausted to engage with her students. And now she runs around with her students. She has so much energy, and that was the biggest gift for her. And I thought, well, that's crazy. You think that healing from the cancer and the gallbladder issues and the postpartum depression would be big, but no. It was actually having energy so that she could be of service in her job and play with the kids that she was teaching. So that is huge. So I want you to take the time today. You might want to do it now as soon as this call ends, which it'll be over soon. You could do it this afternoon while you're having lunch. Hopefully you choose something that is nutrient dense. And what I mean by that, it's just your plate, when you look at it, has a diversity of colors and it has a diversity of different fruits and vegetables and maybe a little bit of grains if you're allowed to have those, depending on what your chronic condition is. So I want you to do that exercise, and you can send it to me in whatever format you want. You can take a picture of it. I think you can upload PDFs onto Facebook, but I want you to pop it into the comment section. And the reason I want you to do this is because part of changing your habits and your lifestyle, it's really important to have accountability. And so sharing yourself, when you open yourself up and you share yourself with others, all of a sudden it becomes real. Okay, there's accountability there. Not only that, but you create a community around yourself. You start to create support because other people probably are wishing for the same things for themselves, so then they can relate to you. So put your comments into the Facebook page, and then I'm going to read them because I love this exercise more than anything. I've been doing it for years and years, and I can tell you this one exercise is usually what allows people to commit to the changes that you're about to start making. and that we'll be teaching you about. Okay, so that's the challenge. What would you do if you had unlimited energy? Now, I know that some people their brains start working overtime when they get asked a question, and other people are like, I don't get it. And that's okay too. Some people just need a little bit more time. So I'm going to give you examples as well. In addition to, creativity examples like, taking up a dance class or going back to school or playing with your kids or being of service. I mean, there's so many other things. You can get super specific here. Would you, I don't know, climb a mountain? I'm looking outside and right now it's -20 in Whistler, BC, and the mountains are covered in beautiful snow. Would you go ice climbing? Would you book a trip to Jamaica or Hungary or, any part of the world where you've been dying to go and see? Would you get a second job so you can afford the vacation that you want to take? Would you write a book? And if so, what book would you write? Like really, you can get specific in this. Now, this doesn't have to be an essay. You can write it in point form as well. Write it in a poem, write it in a paragraph, write it in, disconnected sentences. Let your brain just go with this and just start making a list or writing the story of what you would do with unlimited energy. And, you can start reading other people's posts as well, because then you can start to get ideas that'll trigger yours. That's challenge number 1 today. Now, challenge number 2 today, it's really hard to make some of these changes without really prepping for it. So these 5 days is to really set you up so that when this challenge is over, you can step into an Eat Real to Heal lifestyle. Now, the second challenge for today is this. Since we talked about salt and sodium salt, so never again are we ever just going to talk about salt. We're going to get really specific. The sodium salt. I want you to try to go this whole entire week without consuming excess sodium. Now, this is really challenging to do because if you open up your cupboards right now and if you have canned food, packaged food, boxed food, bagged food, anything like that, most likely it contains sodium, and probably in about 5 different forms, because it's also a preservative as well. It also keeps color in your food. It also enhances flavor. It does all of that. Now, so in order to not consume excess sodium, that really means that you're not going to be consuming packaged food. Now, see how far you can get today even. And you might want to start a diary on this. Like, I tried to have lunch, but the only thing that was available was blah, blah, and blah. And you might have already packed a lunch today and you put salt in it. I'm not asking you to throw away your food. The Eat Real to Heal challenge really is about getting you aware of your food and your food choices and how to really start preparing foods differently. So mark how many times in a day you do eat processed packaged food, because that'll indicate how many times a day you're taking in excess sodium. And so what I want you to do is try and minimize it completely. So if you cook with it, you can throw away that salt shaker. We haven't had sodium salt in our house for about over a decade. So you can get rid of it. And this is what's going to happen. Over the next 3 weeks, if you do this, you are not going to be happy with your food, most likely. You're going to be like, oh, it's so bland. I don't taste anything. And that's because we are so accustomed to eating sodium that that's actually all we taste. And in fact, our taste buds have been so completely destroyed by this that we don't know how to taste food anymore. We don't have that ability. So you might eat a carrot or a tomato or lettuce or banana or any kind of fruit or vegetable, and it just really doesn't do it for you. It doesn't give you that zing that you really want, compared to when you eat a bag of chips or chocolate or even bread or any other kind of processed packaged food. So if you stop consuming sodium, okay, and I'm going to talk to you later in the actual Eat Real to Heal program how to increase your intake of potassium, but for now, just try and reduce the sodium. What will happen is in about 3 weeks' time, your taste buds actually regenerate. So this is regenerative medicine that we teach. So your taste buds regenerate, and all of a sudden your tongue becomes alive, and you're able to taste so much deliciousness in food, which means that you're going to eat a carrot and you're going to be like, hey, can somebody taste this carrot? It actually tastes spicy. Or maybe the carrot tastes like super sweet. You're going to wonder if it was dipped in sugar or maple syrup or honey. So I know this seems crazy, but I promise you this is what's going to happen. What will also happen is after 3 weeks of eating really clean, no sodium in your food, you're going to go out there and you won't be able to eat in other places. So you'll go to a friend's house or a restaurant, or you'll go to get something that you normally ate 3 weeks earlier, and you're going to eat it, and you're going to probably go to the person or the chef or whoever made it and say, like, I think you spilled a bucket of salt by accident in this food. I'm not joking. It's happened to almost all of my clients. All of a sudden you start to realize how your taste buds have been hijacked and manipulated by the food industry. So what happens is when you eliminate the salt, you actually create room in your receptors, in your receptor sites of the cells. You also create room with inside the cells, outside in the extracellular fluid. You create room for the uptake of potassium. So if you have too much sodium, your body can't uptake the potassium. So we need to reverse this. So I want you to try that challenge and definitely hop into the Facebook group. And I want you to share your experiences of trying to go sodium free for this week. Okay. Now this challenge is obviously not dependent on us entering you into the draw to win the Eat Real to Heal course, because it's going to be really hard to prove that you didn't eat sodium. But the unlimited energy writing exercise is. So do that exercise first, and then as you navigate through the day, see how much sodium you can eliminate out of your diet. So that means eliminating packaged processed food and eliminating the excess sodium from a salt shaker that you would normally put in. Now you might be wondering, well then how do I eat? And keep it simple. At the end of the day, okay, when you are making changes and you don't have the recipes and you don't know how to cook the food, keep it super simple. You can bake some potatoes, you can bake some squash and yams, you can bake any kind of root vegetable, you can even bake fruit, or you can stew some fruit and vegetables, or you can lightly simmer or steam it, and then you can put it on an amazing bed of greens, so an abundance of like a huge green salad. We make green salads that are literally this big, that are in the bowl, lives in our fridge, and it is we just go in and help ourselves. And so you can put 5 to 10 different vegetables or fruits in your salad. And then you can also put in a little bit of whole grains. So what I mean is you might put barley or buckwheat or brown rice or quinoa, but you want to limit it. And we teach you why in the Eat Real to Heal program. So maybe just add a couple tablespoons to your plate, but you want to have the abundance, at least half your plate full of the salad with all the additional vegetables, the baked potato, maybe a little bit of grains, and then your baked root vegetables, and then you can make an amazing salad dressing. And the salad dressing, we have recipes on our site, so definitely go over there and look at that. But really what's really simple is that if you use a flax oil and an apple cider vinegar, you can blend that together with some garlic and onion and some herbs, and just blend that together or shake it together in a jar. If you don't have a blender, you can chop things fine and put it in the salad dressing, and then put that on your salad and your potatoes and your root vegetables and eat that. That's really the simple way of doing it. So yes, it might require that you go out shopping. If you don't have a fridge full of vegetables today, you might want to swing by a grocery store and pick up some things. Or if you're living in a part of the world where you have farmers markets happening today, definitely swing by and grab some extra veggies, but see how you can do that, okay? So let us know how it goes with the salt. Definitely submit your Eat Real or unlimited energy exercise into the comment section, and then join us tomorrow as we go live for our second challenge of the week. So thanks for being here with me today. I'm going to pop into the comments. If anybody has any questions for me now is the time to ask. But if not, oh, I see that Kat's on here and Cassie's on here and Linda and Daria, Dawn and Montserrat. I love that name. I hope I'm saying it right. And Maria, it's so great to have you on the call. This is going to be recorded, so if you jumped on late, no problem. You can hop into the Facebook group and then you can play it again. So today was a little bit longer, 34 minutes. Tomorrow we're going to keep it down to about 20 minutes, but since it was the first day, wanted to intro you into the program and get you started. So send me your unlimited energy exercise. Send me your plans for how you're going to reduce the salt and the experience of eliminating the excess sodium out of your diet. So really kicking the packaged food, the processed food. And that kind of also means if somebody asks you to go for lunch today or dinner today, you're going to have to make some better choices for yourself, okay? Because everything is smothered in sodium. So day one is over, and come join us tomorrow for day 2 of the 5-day Eat Real to Heal challenge. Thanks for being here. Bye.